Welcome, listeners, to another episode of Pateo Radio. It is now Tuesday, February 11, 2014. Central European time is 7 o'clock in the evening, 7 p.m. And we have a guest from Canada tonight, a special guest from Canada. And the guest is a singer, musician, songwriter, but most of all, somebody who really knows what's going on this planet. Please welcome to the show, Kate. Are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I just got a little spinny wheel going on my Skype, and
okay.
Yeah, I'm here now. Yeah, great to be here, Johan. This is awesome. I love talking with world shakers like you, so it's good.
Okay, yeah, I was really urged to have you on my show by somebody who's really a great fan of you. So I'm happy that we could arrange it this quickly. Yeah, how should I address you? Is it Kate or what?
Kate, yeah. For those tuned in that are not used to hearing a male-sounding voice out of a female-sounding name, I'm transgendered. The common way of looking at it is male to female, more a two-spirit kind of thing. It's all good. It was actually a perfect clue to the game. So happy to play the role and happy to change the world. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know everything, but still it's really difficult to use the word Kate as your name. But it's okay. Anything is good for me.
Or you can call me anything you want. It's all good.
Okay.
Hey, you. Yeah, I'm here. I'm good.
No, okay. Then I'll stick to Kate of Kate of Gaia. I think, yeah, I don't know where we best can start off. Maybe we start with the legal system, because I've heard you say a number of things, and I also saw it. Your point of view, and that's exactly my point of view. So maybe that's a good starting point. We have common ground there. But maybe you can explain in your own words, how do you look at the legal system in every country?
Well, there's only one jurisdiction. I call it jurisfiction. On the planet, it's the crown. Again, I always look for the singularity. What does everything have in common with everything? And people have asked me, well, what dictionaries do you use, Kate? And I'll tell you, I used every single dictionary, because I'm sure I could make a sound that would sound Dutch, where you would get a meaning from it, but it would be gibberish to me. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so with that in mind, I can take that same sound, if I find it in English, and define the word within the word, because you obviously have a dictionary for Dutch, let's say, and there's one for German, there's one for Spanish. I use them all, because if there's a definition or of Phoenician, de Phoenician, French, de of Phoenician law, in any book, anywhere, it applies to any spell. So this is why people will get owned through a single language, assuming that is the only language they speak. I chose to speak all. That's the difference. So if I am choosing to speak all languages, then I can define any document any way I want, because I'm using the same rules that the system does. I'm casting the spell back only with my intent, my understanding. No one defines my words for me. I'll do that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm also doing a lot of research in all kinds of ancient languages and modern languages, and see what root causes there are for words that are being used to buffle us.
Yeah, I use Egyptian, I use Greek, I use them all. And there's only one language, sound. If you make a sound and it has a little squiggle or a letter or a number attached to it, then that's a spell, because it's been written. That's what a rite is, a ritual, a R-I-T-E. You know, getting your last rites, so to speak. You know, when people say, I know my rights, well, they're actually saying, I N-O my rights. By assumption, I can assume, yeah, I know you have no rights.
Yeah, it's really fun to play with these words and show the underlying. But I've noticed that I've pissed off a lot of people who are in the legal game, and
you too, huh?
Yeah, the Freeman Society and how do you deal with those people? Because they're so convinced that they found a trick, but that they still are remaining in the system, and the system doesn't allow any trick, as far as I know.
Well, for the right kind of treats, you can get any dog to do any trick you want. And that's all they're doing, the Freeloader Society, Freeman. You know, here's a bit of irony I like to share too. You know, the police forces around the world like to use that term, free man on the land. This is what, as opposed to a slave man that you are? Oh, okay. Well, you see, people will always tell you exactly what they are in the mirror. So when someone is calling someone else a freeman on the land, well, then by assumption, then that means you must be a slave man. So it's all fun and games. And I'll tell you this right now, and I'm going to say this to all free men and all the rest of these idiots, and that's all they are to me. They're just idiots. They're jumping around trying to find this definition and that, and they don't even understand the very sounds they're making. And you see, here's the thing. I could sit in front of any free man and own them in the first sentence and turn everything they're saying around with intent against them. That's why they, the Miranda rights, anything you say is Latin for himself, herself, itself, creation itself, okay? So anything you say can, and it's not might be, and we'll sort of think about it, it will be used against you. Silence is golden. Silence. Psi, letter, meaning spirit, L, which, of course, in Spanish is the, and the is theos, just like der is God, which means the in German. It all comes back around. In French, it's L, E-L, or E-L-L-E, so it's both masculine and feminine. So look at how many assumptions I can make within one sound. So psi-l-ents, ents means minds. Any word with ent or ents on it is mind or minds. So I hear things a lot differently than people because I am not assuming or presuming anything in any given language. Before I say something, I've already got it deciphered in my mind what my intent is. So you might hear something coming out of my face, but I'm casting an entirely different spell. And because of that, that one reigns supreme over others. And this is what's happening with people that are fighting in the legal system. They don't understand. It's like setting like putting a pre-siding judge on the bench. Do you really want a pre-siding? First, they're telling you which side they're on. And two, they're telling you that it's premeditated murder, and I'll tell you why. Pre, meaning as a prefix, meaning before. Side, meaning to kill. You might have heard of homicide, genocide. Those kind of things, right? And the act of is ing, right? So presiding judge means that, one, they picked a side, and two, you're already dead via their premeditated intent to kill you. Every judge that is presiding is actually a premeditating murderer, because if a human being can be a legal person, so then can a legal person be a human being, and if you kill either one, have committed murder in the legal and lawful sense, with intent. And it's all about the intent. In, to be inside something, let's say, or to own it. 10, which of course is the number, 10, or which can also be the same sigil as I and O. So there's Io, the Greek goddess of all creation, creation herself, the void. And T, the note of love, or the cross that you can get crucified on. It just depends on your interpretation, right? So what is the intent? Well, what it's saying is, what are you creating within that void of all creation? Are you creating it with love, or are you trying to crucify yourself? And I can mirror anything anyone says right back on them to make them literally eat their own words. And that's what I do. This is why anyone that thinks that they're going to walk into a courtroom and use this bit of gibberish and that bit of gibberish is so mind-bogglingly stupid. I know, I've done it.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And now let's go back to a certain video that a lot of people have seen it, me and boy mode as I call it, the judge bows to sovereign. When you actually listen to what I'm saying, I don't say much. Because I already knew that what you say can be against you, so I was very careful in responding. Not in an aware state, I will tell you. That was just, I let it go, as people say, let it go to the universe. And when I got up, and I said, speak for me. And that's what happened. And in that 2.5 minutes that I've actually spent the last 3 years deciphering is everything you need to know.
Maybe you can help the listeners to describe what happened in that court case and what were the wordings you used, because I'm not sure everybody's seen your video.
Okay, well, I'll save a bit of time. You can look at Judge Bows to Kate of Gaia, and there's one on YouTube that has these subtitles on it. That's the one, Kate of Gaia, or Judge Bows to Kate of Gaia. And that will tell you exactly what I said. Again, I don't get into the semantics of the specifics of a situation. What I'm going to tell you about it was he bowed to me because, one, he could, and it was a spiritual intent. This wasn't the words. This was my intent ringing true. He knew from the gate, and by the way, this was a test. People keep thinking, well, there was a ticket. There was nothing, guys. There was nothing. And to explain this experience to others, most people find it hard to believe, and that's okay. My truth doesn't require your belief. I know what I went through. So, you can think of whatever you want. I was there. So there was no ticket. There was nothing. It was simply a test to see because the system at that point, based on what I was doing prior to that, was already in terror of me because of what I had already unveiled. And that was a culmination of 7.5 hours standoff in a courtroom. And at the end of the day, it's like, to me, it was absolute nonsense why I was there. And you can probably tell in my attitude, it was such a waste of time. Okay. And, and that is the biggest clue of all. It is a waste of time. A lot of times I will tell people, go to my website. And I'll share that now with people, kateofgaia.wordpress.com. There's a page of writings, and I urge anyone that wants to communicate with me, one-on-one, whatever. And I don't do legal, I don't do any of that stuff. What I will share with people is how to see your yellow brick road, to show you that you are God. I'm not interested in all of the effects. I'm only interested in being cause again, and that's what I'm doing. I've stepped back into cause. In the most literal sense, I'm now, if you haven't seen the movie Interstate 60, I'm on Interstate 60, and I know exactly what's going on. And this world is changing because of it, so I just let things be as they are. Okay. What I would like to do, if you're interested, is get into getting people's eyes opened as to the phonics tricks, right? The matrix, the mother tricks, and the father tricks. And the new tricks, that's the KNEW tricks. The difference is these tricks that I've always known this, so they're now past tense to me, but at the same time, KNEW means to remember something, and NEW means something brand new. So they're in the same sound, they are completely opposite. And for me, it's the now. That's the now moment when you can bring everything that you've known to make something brand new. You are now at 0 point. So I really find it much easier to show people how the tricks are working, so they can see the magic for themselves. It's all magic. It's beautiful.
Yeah, great. What I will do for the listeners, I will put a link to your YouTube video under the announcement of this radio broadcast, so that people can easily find it there. But if you search for yourself on YouTube, you will also find it immediately. Maybe a little sidestep, Kate, but maybe we can talk about our common friend, Santos Bonacci. He was in prison for more than a week last month, and he's also been in your shows a couple of times, I think. Or you
all the time.
His shows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very regular. Yeah, Santos is a very good friend.
Yeah. Did you give him any advice on how to deal with this situation, or what can you comment on what happened?
Well, again, there's no advice I could give on that. There were a lot of people that wanted to, get my opinions on this legal position and that legal position, and I know it's all nonsense. Mm-hmm. It's all nonsense, and it's got people spinning inwards, not outwards. People are at the effect of somebody else's cause. I chose to be the 9, not the 6. I spin out. I create. I don't get sucked into the vortex. The situation that Santo found himself in, just to keep it as simple as possible, I have a saying: if you pick a fight, expect a fight. And if you accept a fight, expect a fight. So I just choose not to give or take any fight from anyone or anything. I simply stand and spew truth. And lo and behold, nothing comes near me. That's where you get untouchable. Now, Santo had previously put out a video or two, and stirred the ire of some people, and he gets that. He totally gets that, and he also understands where I'm coming from with regards to that. So there was nothing, absolutely nothing I could do, and this applies to everyone. There's nothing I can do for you legally because I don't live there. And those that do you're kidding yourselves, because you don't understand the language. You don't understand the root law, universal law, which is based in sound. All things are created through sound. So I went to common law, with my law, common law. That's what is commonly referred to. And there is only one law, and that is love. Now let's break that phonetically. It's very simple. L-O can sound like law, and V-E can sound like ve, from verily, which means truth. So it's a law of truth. And this all weaves back into itself in a perfect singularity every time. And it takes a little bit of practice. Mm-hmm. I've been at it for a while, and it's natural for me now. I simply let nature take its course. I don't script anything. Every thought is a contract. Every thought everyone has is a contract in agreement. I'll give an example. People that are walking around with a marriage license think that that's what says that they're married. No, I'll tell you when you got married. When the guy asked the girl, or hetero, gay, doesn't matter to me. When one asks the other to marry them, and the other says yes, that's contract, just like that. It's done.
Exactly. What I really like about your approach is what I would like to call the right brain approach, mm-hmm. because most people only use the left brain. But what you do with words and how you break them into pieces and focus on how they sound and what other meanings are possible, I think it's really great. But for the people who hear this for the first time, they think it might not be easy for them to follow what you're saying, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to be the 5-year-old again, and that's what's happened to us. We got so conditioned into a system that we stopped being creative. We've had our lives conditioned. Now, see, I'm going to take all of the vengeance out of this for people. We're playing a game here, and I need people to get this. This is just a game. This is God playing with itself. There is one, and I forget how many people I've heard that we're all one and still don't get this concept. We are all one. And where was I going here? Because we're playing the game of not God. Okay? The all-knowing you, and we are all knowing and all unknowing at the same time. It's just simply contrast. If we are all knowing all of the time, how much of a game is there? If you're constantly playing a video game and you cannot kill me or destroy me mode, how boring does that get? It gets boring very quickly. So we, in our infinite brilliance, the one, you, me, all of us collectively as one, this is one mind, created the games that we're playing right now. At one point, as I see it, here we are, the one mind, all by itself, holding a dot in space. And then getting really good at it so that the dot would stay there without us thinking about it. And then we would add another dot until we end up with a beautiful universe like this. And that takes an infinitely long time, but when you have infinity to play with, why not? So we created this game grid. And as a result, we get to experience the non-boredom. Now remember, perfection is imperfect in that it is perfect. When everything is perfect, there is no game. And that's where you insert the big yawn. I mean, if I was God, and I am, that's what I would do. I'd be very bored. So I would create games and all sorts of levels of games to play. This is why I use the Zodiac as a game grid level shower. I show people how we play the levels. We just came out of the Pisces game level, which was the lowest form of not know, where the religions come in and all the rest of it to really beef up the game. We just came through the toughest level of the game. But here's the magic. You can't fail. You can only have the illusion of it. You're God. Okay, but you have to have the illusion of it. And the only way you can do that is to wipe out all sense of knowing. So how do we do that? Well, it's easy. We pop a point of our consciousness at conception into a physical womb and pop out of mama in a complete state of, well, what do you know? Nothing. So when we pop out of mother, what do we pop into? Well, we pop into a variable of the game. In your case, you're from the Netherlands, right? I'm from Ireland originally, so my consciousness popped out of mom in Belfast, so that's my game grid. I came in to play the role of what I'm playing right now. Born there with all of these different cultural influences, you know what Belfast was all about, right? So you had that beautiful conflict of good and evil and green and orange and all the rest of it. It's just what a tapestry. But what happens is when we pop out of mom and dad and all the families and friends and everything, they just can't wait to grab our little canvas and start painting all of, well, you're going to be Protestant, or you're going to be Catholic, and you're going to be white, and you're going to be black, and you're going to be speaking English, you're going to be speaking Romanian, you see what I'm saying? So all of these different programs get placed on our canvas that we find ourselves in. So there's a game of complete separation from the all. You know, someone that, say, speaks only Romanian has a difficult time with someone who only speaks Swahili, you know? Mm-hmm. So that makes the game there. You know, the game is to try to understand each other. And there's a complete state of not know between them. And that's what God is, that's what we, the God, there's only one. This is the game we're playing from different points of you. You can say view or you, it doesn't matter, it's the same sound, right? Different points of view or different points of view. Which one did I say?
Yeah, I know. It's great, yeah. And how do you look at the role of the people who want to have total domination, total world control? Of course, they're also part of the same us, the same.
Yeah, they're playing the role of contrast.
Okay.
To wake us up. So you can get caught in the drama. I have many times. You can get caught in the drama and scream and kick like a 5-year-old in the cereal aisle that's not getting the cereal with the prize they want. Or you can finally stand up and decide to push your own cart. That's what I did. And I'll choose whatever I want. And this is not a very difficult place to get to. I know I'm here. I made it. And I've been through a veritable hell. Lots of people coming at me. I mean, I got to tell you, I've really only been in the game since early 2010. So I'm a relative newcomer to this, you know, what we'd call the Truth Awakening. But I had the luxurious glory of having all of my material possessions that were possessing me. You see, if someone says they own a house, they don't own the house owns them. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, tell me you're going to walk away from it. Oh, wait a minute, that's right. There's that big chain that says I live here. It says it's the only place you can be. Look at the marriage, another beautiful trap. You're the only one in the world that I can be with. Right? You've separated yourself from the rest of humanity. So this is a game of complete separation from all. And the only way we can experience that is to have people, points of our consciousness, other points of view, playing these different roles of, you know, good cop, good guy, bad guy. And there's no such thing as good or evil because everything is good and evil. The only thing that changes that is your perspective, mm-hmm. But more importantly, your intent on how you want to look at it. If you're polarized through your canvas being painted in a certain way, then you're only going to look at it a certain way. It's very difficult for, I'll use Ireland as an example. It's very difficult for someone that was raised Protestant orange, rah-rah the Queen, to adopt the viewpoint of another point of view that is Catholic, has the Pope as their master. And do you know what I'm saying? So there you've got two. It's very difficult for these 2 points of view to come together. But I'm going to tell you this. You see, I was raised the most staunch orange, Masonic, Protestant, white Anglo-Saxon Presbyterian, rah-rah the Queen. You want to see my canvas when I came in here. Okay. And there's nothing I laugh at more. Because it's absolutely retarded. It's ridiculous, you know. And people are talking about, here, let me show you how the Masonic, my family, I'm the only one that isn't. My family were all Masonic. But here, let me tell you the joy of it. The clue is in all of the symbols they have there. the beautiful good if you can see it. Or you can stay polarized and say the Illuminati are evil, and then, if you say something is evil, you have separated yourself from the singularity, and this is where you have to get to, the singularity. Can you see both sides of the coin at the same time? Or is the head of the dragon biting your head off, or is the tail of the dragon smacking your head off? You got to get on the back of that coin, the back of that dragon, so you can grab the head and tail at the same time. Then you shove the tail down the dragon's throat. That's what I do.
Yeah,
so
I fully agree, and I also tried it a lot of times. Most of the time, it's successful for me. But when I, for instance, focus on the way the food has been manipulated and is still going on with GMO and the war and oil and all those bad things, so to say, in the world, then it's easy for me to lose my point of singularity, and I switch to one side, and then I become detached from the whole. So how do you deal with those negative influence, so to say, those bad images?
Great question. When you're dealing with things like that, there's only one way that people will deal with them, and it's emotionally. It's not rational. And that's the whole point of drama, to see the contrast. I mean, you can look at someone that's doing something that you would deem to be evil, really bad, and say, whoa, look where I am, because that's not something I would do. So you can see where you are on Jacob's ladder. It's a contrast. That's something I choose not to do. Now, and here's the other part about the control system. You can talk about genetically modified organisms, but that's exactly what humans are. Everything in this universe is a genetically modified organism. That's what the physical universe is all about.
Okay.
Here, let me show you the good about having fluoride in your water. Yet you'll have people out there going, get the fluoride out of the water. Oh, and they're screaming and they're, protesting and screaming little kids in the cereal aisle. And they're not looking at it. So I choose to look at, okay, well, if somebody says it's evil, I'm going to go looking for the good. And if somebody says it's good, I'm going to go looking for the evil so I can balance it out. And I do it. You see, I don't shun my motes. A mote is a spell that one casts, yeah? Mm-hmm. That's the modus operandi of love, M-O-T-E, right? I can define any word any way I want, and that's what I choose to do. And when you have E-mote ions, what you have are no mote ions. You might say emote shuns emotions, but what you're getting there, when you get to the singularity, that's why emotions are both good and evil, because when you can get to a position of neutral, then you can observe it in a fully balanced position. This is where I'm talking about getting to. This is the destination I'm at right now as I move down my own episodes of Interstate 60. The only thing that will bring people out of reality is drama, emotions. And I don't know about you, but anytime I'm trying to converse with anyone that is emotional like this, it was kind of funny. First time in years, I was in a bank yesterday to help a friend deal with an issue, and the customer service guy, I know I'm an untouchable, so I can say whatever I want because I only stand in truth, and truth protects you full. And this guy, hands on his hips, inches away from me, and all I said was, buddy, lose the edge, with a big smile. And as he's standing there foaming at the mouth, guy's name, by the way, is Michael Cutting, which I thought very, very ironic. It's not ironic. I know exactly why his name was that. But here he is standing in front of me, thinking he can intimidate me. And I'm looking him square in the eyes. And then I turned to my friend and said, look, he's got his hands on his hips and everything. And then I looked back at him again. And then he started talking, and it's you hear the shaking and the absolute rage that he just wanted to haul off and smack me. And then I turned to my friend again and said, and listen to his voice, he's shaking like a leaf. And then they just looked at him and he stormed away. That's the power of truth. That's the power of, I'm not into a fight. You want to pick a fight? You're not going to get one with me.
It's like you let a neutral light shine on the situation, and all that is dark is running away. It doesn't want to be in the spotlight, so to say.
Yeah, you can't. See, here's the joy of love, and this is why it is the law of truth. That's what love is. When you stand in truth, when you stand in the law of truth, in love, neutral, love is not an emotion. Love is a state of being, right? Okay. When you stand in that center point, nothing touches you. And this is the thing that all of these not gods right now are having a hard time grasping. You see, I don't care about anything. I know that my higher self has got the wheel. It's like Aladdin went to Jasmine in the movie, and he was on the magic carpet, reaching down to Jasmine and says, "Do you trust me?" And that's exactly what it is with me. Of course I do. I trust me. I trust that the game that I came here to play and to have these experiences is perfect. And I'm okay with that. And lo and behold, the more I get into that groove, the more I laterally time slide into that already. Remember, we built the grid already. Anything you can imagine has already been done. We had infinity to figure it out. So all of the different variables, these are all director cut endings. You know how movies will have, one ending and then they had to change it because another ending that the director wanted because it wasn't good for the theaters? Mm-hmm. Well, those are infinite. You choose your own ending, and the more people fight and try to, figure out the reality instead of just accepting that they know that everything is well, then they'll keep going in circles and they'll keep spinning in with the hex, the six. Hexagon is a six-sided figure, mm-hmm. And when you take a hexagon, you can turn it into a box. You keep putting yourself back in the box. My Pandora's box, the pan across, door of Ra, my light within. Across the door of the light of God within, Pandora's box is open. Box, 3 letters. B, which is a capital B, is a conjoined 13, which is the Christ consciousness. O is creation. And as I said earlier about X is 10, Roman numeral 10. So that means it can be a 1 and a 0, Io, which can be goddess. And I can put 10 in there. You see what I mean about breaking all the rules and using all the rules at the same time? I break all the rules of the pre-programmed grammar, the programmers. That's all I do. It's like, this is cool. It's beautiful. When you start watching a movie, that's when you become the audio-ence, the sound mind. Audience, I think you might say it in English. Just like the consonant is with sound mind, right? Con with, son, sound, sonic, masonic, mother sound. Masonic, that sounds almost like Masonic. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And ents are consonant, which is mind. With sound mind. Audience and consonant are the same word. They're all the same word, actually. Everything goes back to the same word at the end of the day. But that's just a little clue to show you how two words that would be seemingly completely different, audience and consonant, how are they the same word? Well, they are. I just showed you. Sound mind and...
I have a pause in between. Jeroen, are we back online yet? Are we on the air or still not?
Sorry. Yes, you are still on the air.
Yeah, we're good. We're rolling.
We're on the air now.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, sorry to interrupt you, Kate.
That's okay. You can't interrupt me. Everything's perfect in my world.
I thought we're rolling. Great. Maybe a sidestep, but for the listeners in the Netherlands is maybe an important theme. When we look at the Dutch media, they like to make an issue about the gay thing in Russia and the Netherlands. And I don't think it's true, but the media tries to try to make us believe that Russia is not really pro same-sex marriages or same-sex relationships. What is your point of view on this?
I don't care. How's that? You see, I don't buy into the dramas, right? Because I'm not in Russia right now, so that's not real to me. I only deal in my now experience, which is where I am right now. This is one of the reasons why so many wars happen, because people actually believe what comes out of the talking heads on CNN, and they build it, It's like I've talked to people in the past during radio shows back in my more literal days, and, people would say, well, we've got to go over and do this and that because they're this and that and the other. And I said, well, okay. Obviously, you must have a valid opinion to be able to make such bold claims of wanting to murder people. So I take it you've lived there for half a dozen years or more and got into the community and saw all the things that were going on and really got into the culture and understood what these people were all about. Or did you get your news from CNN, Dopey? So who's creating your reality? This is why I look at things only from a lateral or a spiritual singularity viewpoint. I can take any headline and turn it into my reality, and I watch it happen the next day, or even quicker, which is why this world, as you've been noticing, is waking up on a grand scale. because I'm waking up on a grand scale, and I know this. I'm on Interstate 60. I know where and who and what and when and why I am. That's the difference. I've went through myself and took the scalpel, which is to scalp the intent. Scalpel? I have taken that to myself first. But getting back to the whole thing, these to me are just little dramas within dramas, right? These are things to keep the left mind, or as I call it, the monkey brain, chittering and chattering in a literal sense, because it's really fun, And again, that's just the game of the experience. I just had enough of that game, that's all. And when people decide they've had enough beating each other up, then they'll get out of the playground and they'll stand along with me and kind of go crazy, isn't it? Yeah, well, don't worry, it's all changing. That nonsense isn't in my timeline that I know already exists. I've just got my cab driver taking me there. Home, James, and don't spare the horses.
So what you're saying is this world will change because more and more people are checking out from that's directed reality. Let's call it like that. And we don't need to go to walk on the streets or try to accumulate people or whatever the 100 monkey effect things.
There's only one that has to awaken. There's only one, and that's you. That's it. As within, so without. And again, our reality is a direct reflection of our being at effect to it or being cause over it. Whereas in the game of not God, we played the game of being at uber effect. And there were points of our consciousness that were playing the role of master, and there are other points that were playing the role of slave. And you've been both. You see, this is the thing. This is where I come back to the New Cagers, and the ones that say, "Oh, we're all one, and we're this, that, and the other," and then they'll turn around and see something that gets them emotionally charged, and then they'll start, blaming. Okay, I thought you said we're all one. Well, we are, but that's not part of the one. Oh, okay. Okay, so you've got a different definition of what one is than I do then. That's all I'm saying. You're divided and conquered. You have a polarized viewpoint. You think something is evil or you think something is good. I simply see the game and the contrast in between, and I know how to create around it now so that I get in my universe what it is that I need for me to experience. And there are many things that I don't wish to experience anymore because they're like reruns. I don't need to talk to cops. I mean, that's like talking to a potato. You're dealing with, that's low points of consciousness to me, but that's the contrast to show me where part of me is and part of me isn't. That's it. It's like I use this all the time. Is eating human flesh a good thing? Well, not to a cannibal, or to a cannibal it is, but not to me, and that's okay. So that's how I see my own evolution. And you really, guys, you got to get really selfish on this. You got to fix your own backyard. It's like having a neighbor that has all sorts of garbage in their backyard, broken down cars and all the rest of it, leaning over the fence into your backyard, telling you to clean it up. How about you clean your own first, and then we'll talk? And that's what has to happen. It's not about waking others up. It's about waking yourself up. There's no one coming to save you. You're it. Because you are all of consciousness. I cannot prove that anyone outside of me exists because I'm the only point of consciousness I'm truly aware of. That's my experience. And everything else to me is just a movie. I shared it last night, when you think in terms of the one, I'm going to show it in a very, very interesting way that I'm sure people haven't looked at it before. When you think in terms of the one, very lonely. So we create all these different points of view, and me, magnetic electric, ME, that's what creation is, sound. And what we do is we give ourselves the illusion that they're separate from ourselves so that we can play a game. It's like having an imaginary friend, if you will. And that is, for me, the absolute fact in that, there is only one. So when people want to go out and have sex, they're simply masturbating. That's the mind, the one mind, masturbating in 2 points of view. It's a movie, guys. It's a game.
The quality is somehow different in my little life experience so far.
Well, you choose your reality, and this is what all of the great teachers were trying to say. I just caught on to what they were really saying. And that's all I share now, and I do most of my sharing, 7 nights a week on the air, mainly in writing so that people can see. I like show and tell. I love kindergarten, so I show and tell people through writing, where I can show the different spellings and the different meanings of what you can get out of a word. It's like the word science. Well, now that you know that psi is spirit, Greek letter, and ent is mind, what is science? Spirit mind. That's all it is. You can take any of these words. Another one for the word mind. There are quite a few. You can use ship, ownership, owner mind. You can use hood, neighborhood, so the neighbor mind. You can use ment, government, and you can use ent. And of course, what is ent in Tolkien? That's the trees of knowledge, the as above, so below. The branches reach into the light for nourishment, inasmuch as the branches reach into the dark for nourishment. They call them roots. I call them branches. To me, branches above, branches below. Same thing, getting nutrient from the absolute dark and the absolute light. And to me, I can see the singularity of the universe in one tree, and that's why it's called the tree of knowledge. And it's very, very easy to get. It's just not very easy to explain. That's all. And that's all I'm trying to show people is you got to let go of the garbage. The only thing holding the eunuch horn down, unicorn you might say, eunuch is castrated, castor, divine feminine, ka, spirit, stir, divine feminine, castor and pollux, yeah. All of these things tie together. I found the thread, the 3D. You might pronounce it thread. I'll pronounce it 3D. I found the 3D that runs through everything. And it's sound, and it's very, very simple. But you got to slow down and look at our society and how well we've been conditioned by our masters. Please. Anyway, to think in a certain way.
Yeah, it's really funny that you say that we should slow down because you go with an incredible speed and you mention so many things. So my mind is nearly cooking at the moment. But it's really great what you explain. For the listeners, if you want to learn more about the way Kate is working with words and showing the sound underlayer, so to say, go to Kate of Gaia, one word, and then .wordpress.com. There you find a lot of writings from him or her.
It's himself, herself, itself. I am the say. I am the cause. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Great.
Like I said, you can call me anything you want. Anything you want, and I'll turn it around on you, and I'll show you how beautiful a word. I can take any word in any language and turn it into pure love. That's the singularity.
Yeah, I like the analysis of the word science because I'm really trying to reach out to the scientific community, but it's not getting anywhere so far. Because they're stuck.
Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Please do.
It's really easy. Like people like Stephen Hawking, here, and he's finally starting to catch on. The deeper and deeper you go into science, where things are getting smaller and smaller, get into the quantum, and I'll break all this stuff down into the spiritual if you want. It's fun as hell. When you get down to quarks and parsecs and all of these tiny little things, and like the Boson-Higgs, they're trying to prove the existence of God with the effect. They're going backwards. It's like on the Poseidon, the ship that's turned upside down. The Poseidon, which is the seed po, side, to kill, and mind, Poseidon. That means to kill your seed. Or it also can mean to grow your seed. Po-sai, which is the seed of the spirit. D-I, for Dios, of God, mind. You see what I mean? I can take a word and just because you have been spellbound to only accept it one way, I accept it always and return it always. That's why I can take any legal document and turn it around, and this is exactly what I'm going to be writing about today. I can take any legal document and turn it around using Phoenician definitions of Phoenicians and turn it around and say, thank you, now give it back. I interpret the words, not you. I don't ever assume that I only speak English, and that's the biggest assumption. Don't assume that someone only speaks this language, and we've done that for countless thousands of years. We've assumed what we're saying to each other just based on a common agreement. And all of these words, if you decide that a word means a certain thing in a dictionary, and this came out of a judge not that long ago. It's pretty funny, actually. I saw the truth in it. He was trying to tell the truth. I mean, guys, we're playing a game, and there are basically referees on both sides here just to make sure we don't destroy our entire universe, okay? Seriously, it's fun as all get out. But what this judge said was, some guy asked about which dictionary to use, and the judge answered him very truthfully, but you have to have the ears to hear it. He said, well, the dictionary is the first book to use, but to look at, but the absolutely last one to use. Because what a dictionary, dict, ion, Aries. Aries is the Roman god of war. It's also the Lamb of God, Aries, in the zodiac. Same sound, two different intents, completely opposite. Okay? So I don't use any dictionary, and I use all dictionaries. So I create a singularity out of it. Every language, langage, that's what language is, langage. It's two French words, like means tongue pledge, just like mortgage or mortgage means death pledge. Mm-hmm. All right, so when you really start, and these were early on clues like a few years back, as to the deeper layers. I'm a songwriter, so I've kind of been working with words my whole life anyway, trying to find new tricks to bend words to make, because, novelists got it easy. They can write, 50, 100, 200, 500 pages to tell their story. Me, I've got, 3, maybe 4 verses and a chorus and a bridge, 3.5 to 4 minutes to tell my whole story. So what I've learned to do is to take all these vast panoramas and bring them down into, 3.5, 4 minutes. And that's what I do with all of the words of the languages.
Okay, great. Time is nearly up, and you mentioned referees. That triggers me. So, what do you mean by the referees on both sides, and how do you look at that?
Oh, okay. In a game where you have a bunch of kids playing, you, me, and everybody else, I don't know about you, but if you didn't have referees on the rugby field, things could get out of hand, couldn't they?
The game, there were some new rules added to the game, yes.
So to me, it only makes sense. Creation, mine, in creation, sense. Common sense is with my creation, mine, in creation. So, see, this is the thing. No one can ever assume anything with what I write or what I say any longer, because I understand phonics. That's all.
Great.
I hope it's been fun. I've had a great time here with you guys.
Yeah, it's fun too. Yeah, but the problem is I also work with my right brain, but in order to explain it to people, I use my left brain. I make it logical, I make it linear so that people can grasp it. So I tend to hold on to one meaning, but you bring so many different meanings, so it's fun. The game makes it more fun. It makes the game more fun. Yeah.
The right brain is what you need to let do the creating. That's the rose field, the rose garden, rose say, the spirit breath of creation, where most people have been using the cane field, the ragweed, the poison ivy. The left brain is a tool to decipher.
Exactly, analytic.
Not to create. That's the right brain's job. So I just choose the right brain to create and the left brain to decipher, and then I recreate my reality around me that way. Everyone's most people I know are doing it backwards. Actually, most people I know now aren't. They're actually doing it this way, so it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's true. But it also liberates you from all the linear and the predefined words, because it gives you the ability to play with them and to make it more fun.
Yeah.
That's liberation.
One more word before we go. You just used the word define, right? Literally, it means to explain something as we understand it in English. Well, let's take it to a different level, really quick. You familiar with the term phi, as in phi ratio?
Fibonacci ratio. Yeah. Yes, of course.
Right. Creation itself, the spiral out, the 9. Okay.
Okay.
N means it's mine, and D can undo something or be of something, right? De in French is of. D, as in destroy, is to, take apart. Okay, so what does define really mean now? Well, it means of sacred creation mine. So I choose to define my reality. My reality.
Well, yeah, it's beautiful.
It works in every word, and it does the same. It has the same effect that you just experienced in every word. I can just see it now, that's all. No biggie. I'm just trying to show it now.
Yeah, you certainly did it for me, and I also assume for many of the listeners. So I really want to thank you for this inspirational talk. Sorry that in the middle something went a little bit wrong technically.
No worries. That was computer freezing on my end. Last words for me. I love you guys. You're all God. I'm just here to empower you. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kate, for being my guest. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Next week, my guest is Jay Weidner. He studied the work of Kubrick, and we'll talk about the fake moon landing of 1969. Thank you very much, and hope to hear you. Hope that you join in then again. Bye-bye.